You might have already figured out niches or types of projects or writing, your ideal diamond clients, or maybe you've actually spent some time learning from your last 12 months of data. But this video is teaching you how to leverage all of that for your inbound marketing, which is when clients reach out to you, and your outbound, when you send those LOIs and pitches. And we're going through specific marketing strategies that you're going to leverage in 2025 to find your best clients ever, your most fun projects, and of course, to make more money in less time. And I'm Mandy Ellis. I'm a six-figure freelance writer. I built a six-figure freelance writing business, and I help other freelance writers build high-earning businesses they adore without the overwhelm, burnout, or stress. So we're thinking about those dream clients. We're moving into 2025, and I really want you to think about these from least to most important. So I'm giving you 7 different things that are things we need to cover, but they go from 7 to 1. So number 7 here. What we're talking about is you need to refresh your website and LinkedIn copy. This is one of the things that I see all the time that gets messed up, where you just leave it. You just let it die for years on end. When you look at your LinkedIn and your website, you need to look at your ideal clients, those niches, the projects you want to move into, and you need to make sure that you're actually updating the copy to reflect the kinds of projects and the kinds of clients that you want to work with or work on, right? So you need to speak their language. I talk about this all the time, which is the tuning fork technique. You need to be on their same level. So you need to understand why the content does what it does. Why does a blog post help with web traffic and SEO and brand awareness? Or why does a case study help with leads and sales and potentially subscribers? And then we need to move that into how can you help? What are your unique skills? What are the things you're bringing to the table? And then what are the results that your clients want? We're adding those things together. So we're putting those things together in your copy. And especially when it comes to your portfolio. So on LinkedIn's featured section, and then on your portfolio on your website, all of these things, updating your portfolio is really important. And a little thing that I always remember here is I used to have a long period of time, and this still happens now and then, but for a long period of time, I used to have potential clients be like, wow, your website came up first in the first result of, freelance real estate writer or whatever the search term was. It was like, I had like a bunch of them, 5 or 6 or 7, where mine was the first result for quite a while. And they were like, you must be really good at SEO. And I was like, no, I just update my portfolio, which is like telling Google all the time that like you're refreshing your sites or your site. And then also when you're adding your portfolio, you have qualified backlinks, right? So when someone clicks on a portfolio clip of yours in your website, it goes off to a really great website. But you're also updating your copy, and you are kind of, reconfiguring some of that SEO stuff. But a lot of my SEO juice literally comes from updating my website. So number 7, you need to make sure you are refreshing your website and LinkedIn copy with the things that you're bringing to the table, your skills connected to the results your clients want, and that you also understand why you're creating this content, right? Why does this content do this thing, and how that improves the results for your clients. Number 6, you need to figure out if your clients are on LinkedIn or not. And that informs you doing your outbound marketing on LinkedIn or through email. So this is a question I get all the time. You need to spend your time wisely. And the question I get is like, is it better to spend my time on LinkedIn or email? Should I send an LOI or a pitch even to a magazine through email or through LinkedIn? Magazines, almost always it's emails. Now you could go on LinkedIn and you could go in there and ask for their email just like you would a DM on X or Twitter or something else. But I think most of the time for magazines, you're emailing those pitches in. But with LOIs, you need to look at the LinkedIn profiles of your potential clients. Have they been active in the last 90 days? Okay, then that InMail goes to them, right? We're sending that LOI via InMail on LinkedIn. If they haven't been active in the last 90 days, email it to them. There are a ton of free tools that you can use to find people's emails. But really what's important here is that we're spending our marketing time wisely. We're not just like spraying and praying. We're not just going on LinkedIn and like sending a bunch of stuff to people who aren't active. We know for sure based on their activity whether they're active on LinkedIn or not. So we know, is it better to pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or is it better to pay for Hunter.io or Apollo.io or some other email finding tool? You could count Wizza in there too. So let me know in the chat. Did you actually do this? Have you done this before? Or in the chat, in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Have you done this before? Have you really looked into your LinkedIn clients? Like, have you looked at whether they're active or not, or did you kind of spray and pray? And if you've used a tool, what's your favorite tool? Do you like Hunter.io or Apollo.io or Wizza? Or LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find email addresses? Comment below. Let me know. I'm curious about what you're using and how it works. And this goes into number 5. Number 5, use LinkedIn Sales Navigator if that's something that is financially feasible for you. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, putting all those pieces together, is a really good way to make a list, to find emails, or to check out profiles, or to cut companies by revenue, or search the right niches. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you can afford it, that's a great place to make a list of clients. Now, you can also make lists of clients from like just Googling a bunch of lists or finding magazines or articles or stuff like that have lists. But for me, I really think that LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you can afford it, is really, really good for marketing because you just do it all in one place. Even if you're going to use emails, LinkedIn Sales Navigator will give you people's emails. And LinkedIn Sales Navigator gives you 50 InMails a month. So we're hitting at least 50 LOIs a month, which is really great. And I think if you're combining that with Hunter.io and Apollo.io, because sometimes you'll have a bunch of people on your list who may not be active on LinkedIn. Even if the majority of your clients are active on LinkedIn, there will still be a subset who are not. You can still use those other tools for free to then send things via email. Now, if you are kind of figuring out how to do all this stuff, I want you to check out last week's video about high-paying freelance writing clients. So if you're kind of like, well, I'm in LinkedIn, should I pay for Sales Navigator? How do I find clients? I will put a little bar up here, the little things where you can check out the video about finding high-paying freelance writing clients in 2025. So you can kind of moosh all those things together to find those high-paying clients, send your LOIs in the right place, use Sales Navigator if that's something that you can afford and makes sense for how you do your process, and then, put all those little pieces together. Number 4 here, you need to develop all the templates. We're not here in 2025 or whatever year you're watching this in. We're not here to make marketing more difficult. This is one of the things that I think is one of the biggest struggles for freelance writers is we want to get paid for our work, but like shush on the marketing. Like, don't tell me about that. But if we can make marketing fun and make it not such a big lift and not reinvent the wheel, boy, does that make a huge impact on our business. So you need templates to cut the time, the energy, the effort, the brain space to get those LOIs out, right? So we have our LOI template that we're going to use. And then we also have our pitch. I don't like saying template, but it's like a format. So we have a specific format that we use for pitches that I think really helps you get through them without going overboard. So we're using these templates, but then you have templates for your proposal. You have templates for your contracts. You have templates for your invoices. You have templates for responses to clients. Now, this is something I just gave my Wealth Lab OGs. So my Wealth Lab OGs go into a post-course community called Breakthrough. And in the Breakthrough community, they just got a huge template library. I think it has 45 templates now. And a bunch of those templates are responses. Like, how do I respond when a client says that something is too expensive or I charge too much? Or what do I say when the client says no to this or that? Or basically this, like, how do I actually respond to certain negotiation things? Or how do I put these templates in here? So all of those templates are really, really important. That's why my Breakthrough students have access to them, right? My Wealth Lab OGs who move into Breakthrough. I think for me, getting your LOIs and your pitch templates really set together is really important. Having an LOI template for each one of your niches is really important because it makes it a lot easier to get through things. So I probably have, 20 or 30 of them for each one of the combinations of niches or single niches. So I have one for prop tech, and then I have one for prop tech and travel, and then I have one for pet health insurance, and then I have one for pet health insurance and SaaS, or I have all these different templates. But I want to mention a couple other ones. So we talked about client response. Of course, we need to have follow-up templates as well. So when you have those warm leads, you have those clients who responded to an LOI or fell off the radar, we need kind of templates to get back in touch with them to make that quick and easy. But I also want you to have those onboarding templates for your proposal, contract, and invoice. And I want you to have templates for pricing and taxes. So taxes would be, I like a spreadsheet. So I give this to my Wealth Lab and my Runway students. They have a spreadsheet where they can go through tax stuff. Like it teaches them like what to look for and here's how to set it up. And then pricing. I want you to have some kind of thing on the back end of an idea of what you're charging in terms of rates and how you're raising them and what types of things you've charged before, because when you have that template, it's a lot easier to price new projects and it just takes a lot of the stress out of the whole thing. So the piece where we are doing all these things, there are lots of templates in your business, and the whole point is so that you can get back to paid work, so that the marketing doesn't take forever, so that feeding the Tamagotchi in your little marketing thing doesn't take forever, but you're actually getting all these templates together so you're like, it's easy to do all the admin in your business. Number three. Now these are for my more advanced freelance writers, copywriters, content marketing writers, strategists, whatever, all the people who have been around the block maybe 2 to 5 years who are a little bit more advanced. So this for me, I think, is really important when you are collecting things and you're moving to a different level. So this piece is a little more advanced for if you're attracting businesses or magazines. So let's say we're going to go after business clients or corporate clients, companies. What I want you to do is think about, maybe write some ideas down for some kind of guide or free download for them. So what are the most important questions or the things that are coming up regularly in your meetings? How can you make a guide or a checklist or a cheat sheet or some kind of thing they can download to solve those client questions quickly? So this really helps you kind of gather up warm leads, but it's something that you can have on your site in the future. Now, this is for people who are really trying to filter out clients. This was something where I got to my business and I was just like, I need to filter more people out. I need to stop getting on all these calls. So one of the ways to do that is you can create a freebie so that you know when people download that freebie, they've already solved a bunch of problems. By the time they get to you, they're already ahead of the game. Now, the second thing you can do is create kind of a searchable web page. I have a standalone web page that has brand values, happy clients, testimonials, past project stuff, past clients, and then also a bit about my pricing. So by the time they get through all of that, they can select to get on a call with me. So I know that if they book a call after getting that one standalone unsearchable website page, that they're more likely a good fit for me. And I did this to start filtering out leads that I was getting, and I was just tired of getting on calls or getting a lot of tire kickers. So you can create an unsearchable website page. I have Squarespace, so I just duplicate a page and make it unsearchable. And then that way you can just send that link to any client where you're like, hey, look at my intro guide, or here's my onboarding guide. If that works, book a call. And that really helps to pre-filter these clients out, so you're only getting on calls or starting contracts with people who are actually serious. So I would start kind of collecting that information. I wouldn't say you have to run and do it immediately, or that it's going to build an audience immediately, but it's something that I think is a really good next step if you're more advanced in your business. The other thing for more advanced stuff with magazine clients is that you need to have a collection of all the pitches you did not get accepted from this year. You need to have a single document or some one place where you can take all those pitches that were not accepted this year and find 5 to 10 other magazines to pitch them to. So let's say you have 50 pitches that were not accepted this year, which is a pretty low number, but let's say it's 50 that were not accepted. Find 5 or 10 other magazines that you can send those pitches to, and you will likely get a lot more work. This is something that I think people miss a lot, where magazines will give you radio silence. They will ghost you. They will forget. You could follow up a billion times and maybe the idea isn't a fit. But if you go back through this year and you just keep a collection of all these pitches, you can find homes for quite a lot of them by just knowing what other publications would they be a fit for. So gather those pitches up and then start kind of figuring out what are 5 or 10 other publications that I can send this idea to, where I could make some more money and get this story published. I think that's really good, because it's really good to come up with new ideas and send those to magazines and whatever, but there are lots of homes for stories that they may not be in your most ideal magazine, but they get published and you get paid. So now we have a byline and we have some money coming in. So I really want you to kind of think about that. If you're going for magazines, you need to know that when you send an idea, that idea isn't just for one magazine. It could be for 5 or 10 others. So you need to kind of work on that muscle of figuring out where those ideas could fit elsewhere, so then you can repitch them out. This is a good thing to do at the end of the year. Number two, this is the thing. You guys know it. If you have watched this at any point, I want you to guess below. What is number 2? And this is something I harp on all the time. What is the number 1 thing I harp on all the time? If you've heard it, put it in the comments below or give me a thumbs up. It is that you need to be consistent with that marketing. You got to feed the marketing beast. You got to hit 50 to 75 LOIs or pitches per month. You have to do your best. So you not only need to do that with hitting that number, but you need to track your data. So the way that I think about this is 2 ways. If numbers are motivating for you, 50 to 75 LOIs. If numbers crush you and make you feel defeated, 1 hour of marketing every single day. No excuses, no nothing. 1 hour of marketing every single day. And then you will slowly be on track. Like, this is something where over time things get quicker, so that 1 hour you end up getting a lot more done by literally just like, doing the practice over and over again, right? And then you need to track that data. This is where all those gold nuggets are. This is the thing I harp on all the time. You can't just send the LOIs and pitches and like, move on. No, you have to send them and you have to track them in a spreadsheet, and you have to know what's going on. What types of clients are answering? What's their revenue? Or if it's a magazine, how much do they pay? What's their publishing schedule if it's a magazine? What niche are they in? What's the link to their website? And what are some other articles or types of content they've created? You need to make sure you're tracking all that stuff to make it easier to find more of those things, more magazines or more clients, business clients that you can send things out to. I think that this is one of the hardest things to do. That's why it's up here. It's one of the hardest things to do. This is why I did 1 hour a day of marketing, then I moved to weekly, then I moved to monthly, then I moved to quarterly, is because if you're doing the marketing, you're getting more work. So you shouldn't need to do marketing so much because your calendar is filling up and then you're booking 3 months out or 6 months out. So you want to keep doing this practice, whatever that regular schedule is, not any less than quarterly. But if you switch to monthly or quarterly, you still have to send the same number. It's not like you can just send 50 a quarter. You still have to send 150 in that quarter. It's just the time it takes. You do it in a couple days per quarter versus every day. So you need to make sure you're keeping track of doing those things and you're keeping track of your data. Number one here. This is kind of like my bonus tip and the thing that I also get asked about all the time. No, if you don't like social media, don't be on social media. I have not seen a ton of freelance writers get huge projects from Instagram or Twitter or whatever, or X or TikTok or anything like that, or YouTube. Most of the time it's LinkedIn. You have to send those LOIs and pitches. So if you hate social media, no, you don't have to post on LinkedIn or Twitter or anywhere else. If you would like to use X or Twitter to reach out to magazines, like to editors and send them pitches or ask for their email so that you can send them a pitch, go for it. But this is something I get all the time. Don't start social media until you want to or until you're ready, or you don't even have to. LinkedIn's feed does not work the same as people scrolling Instagram for hours. It doesn't work like that. LinkedIn's feed is not the same thing. And LinkedIn's algorithm is not the same thing. So building that audience with social media is also kind of an indirect way of growing your business. The direct way is literally reaching out to clients, right? You have to send those LOIs and pitches. The other one is gathering all that SEO juice or the search juice or whatever for people finding you through your LinkedIn profile and website. But if you hate social media, don't do it. Don't start posting because you think that's what you're supposed to do, or build an audience of warm leads. That takes fucking forever. Work on the 50 to 75 LOIs, work on your website and LinkedIn content or copy, and that will pay dividends more so than worrying about building an audience. If you love social media and you want to do it, cool. I would start with just doing a post about, hey, I'm working on this project with this client, and here were the goals we were achieving. Here's why we did it. Here's how we did it. And here's the link to the thing I just did. And I would start there because that's more effective than just talking about content. That's more effective than writing LinkedIn Pulse articles and trying to become a thought leader and all these other tactics that just take fucking forever. So this is the thing. If you don't like social media, don't do it. Okay? If you don't like social media, don't do it. And there are lots of other marketing activities that you can do, which I have just given you 6 others that you can do that are not social media, that you can go through and get clients and get amazing high-paying clients who love working with you, love your clips, love your style, and really make your next year great. And if you're looking for like a system, if you're looking for like all of these things in one, so all these 6 tips I gave you, you're like, how do I remember all this stuff? grab my free seasoned veteran cheat sheet. If you go to mandyellis.com/cheat sheet, you will get a whole bunch of things, not only onboarding, but what questions to answer in that LinkedIn and website copy update that you're going to do, the stats, the things you need to do to check off in that checklist for your marketing, and then what questions to ask on your client calls to make sure you're getting the right clients. So if you go to mandyellis.com/cheat sheet, you can grab it. I want you to remember that marketing can be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's not supposed to be that every time we're reinventing the wheel, we're making it this clear, defined process that at the beginning takes time to learn, and over time, boom, it cuts your time, effort, energy, and brain space so that you can go do more paid work. That's how you know you're doing the right kind of marketing as a freelance writer. And next time, our next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about cold emailing. So we're going to go a little bit further into those LOIs and pitches and how we're going to land those dream clients with cold emails, and are cold emails gross or not. So that'll be the video we go over next time. And I hope this has been helpful. I hope this so far has been something that's getting you to that right next level, that right next space. And we have a question. So we're going to go over that question right here from Amelia. Amelia says, how can you market your business and get new leads and referrals without burning out when you're already at full capacity? For example, how can you get this client when you're already working as much as you want to, but I may want to work with them in the future? So Amelia, this is a good question. What the deal is you're going to switch your marketing. So the whole point isn't that this happens when you think your clients need you right now. And that's usually a red light client behavior. They're like, I need it yesterday. And this question often comes from like someone who says, I need it now. And if you don't give it to them now, they'll just go find somebody else. They're not actually looking for the right writer for their brand to build a long-term relationship with. So the deal here is that my guess is that this is happening because you're dealing with clients who are like rushing around and not pre-planning. But two, this is why you move from weekly to, or from daily to weekly to monthly to quarterly. So you're marketing your business every quarter versus all the time, every single day. So you want to make sure that you are not burning out, but you're constantly adding new potential clients to your list, so that when your day comes or your 2 or 3 days come in during the quarter that you schedule out, you can send 150 LOIs over those 3 days because you've been adding to your list for 3 months. That way you can have all your leads out there and send things out, but you're not overwhelmed and you're not doing too much at once and you're doing your paid work most of the time. The second thing here is that there are a lot of clients who will wait, and it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of good clients that when they see your work or they like what you've been doing, they think, well, like I can wait 3 months or 2 months for this person, or we're not in a rush. So if you go back to that client you want to work with and say, hey, I have a schedule opening in January, they're like, okay, sounds good. So you can let them know that you can pre-schedule your first deadline for January. And most of the time, it can take a couple months to iron things out. It can take a couple weeks or months to iron out the contract or get the scope of work right or get them to give you the upfront payment. And then you schedule the deadline. So let's say that right now you're super busy, but you'd be available in February or March. You could talk to them now, get on the call, send them the proposal, work out the scope of work, work out the contract, make sure you get your upfront payment, and then schedule that first deadline for whenever that is, February, whatever. So what you want to understand is that there is an onboarding process that takes a while anyways. So a lot of times what happens here is that you're working with clients who need it yesterday. We're going to get away from that. We're working with clients who pre-plan. So who you're talking to in November is likely going to be starting work in Q1, January, February, and March. That way you can start getting all these things ironed out, all the stuff before you actually do the work, and then you can set the deadline after that. So I think a lot of times when people worry about this, they think it's immediate. It's not. Most of the time it takes a while to iron it out, and you want to make sure you're getting 50% up front when you get started with a project, or you want to get at least half of your first month's retainer up front before you start work. And then, like I said, a lot of clients will wait. It's very weird, but they think that because you're so in demand that they want to work with you more, so they'll wait it out. But there's also, you have the option, like let's say they're like, hey, we need it now, but you notice that they're like a good fit for you. follow up with them in 3 months. Like, let's say you're done with your work and you're like, hey, I have some schedule space. Follow up with them and see what's going on with them. They likely have not moved forward, or they got tangled up in all this other stuff. So there's a lot of times where someone's like, no, we need to do it now. And then everyone else is busy and it just falls to the wayside until you email them and say, hey, let's go work on this. So I would try those things. But like I said, quarterly marketing, making sure that you're understanding that there is an onboarding period. You need to get paid up front. You need to iron all those things out. Then you can schedule your deadline when you're ready. And then you can always follow up with someone who's like, I need to do it now. So I hope that's been helpful. If you ever have a question, you can submit it through mandyellis.com/question, and I will answer it here in the videos. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.